subtracting with algebra. What was the main thing, the main idea of that lesson? We can add and subtract if we have same pronumerals, but I usually say like terms. If we have like terms, okay? Now that's what it says here at the top of the page. You can only add and subtract if you have like terms, but you can multiply and divide anything. Okay, you don't have to have like terms. So in some ways, multiplying and dividing is actually a little bit easier because you don't have to worry about looking for which ones are the same. All we do to multiply, come on guys, we've started, settle down. All we do to multiply is to multiply any numbers together. So 5 times 2 for this one, the number's at the front. 5 times 2 is 10. And any letters that are there collect up at the end. So I have an X. We are going to be discussing this lateness in a minute, gentlemen. Part B, so same rules. Multiply any numbers together. So this time I have a 7 and a 4. 7 times 4 is 28. And any letters collect up afterwards. Now, if there's lots of letters, we usually put them in alphabetical order. So A, B, C.
Is Byron in this class?
Is who?
Byron in this class?
No.
Okay. Just because he's here today.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Part C. It also works for negative numbers. Okay, see how I've got 11 times by a negative 3. Now, I'm guessing some of you probably still don't like negative numbers very much. So remember that you can use your calculators for any multiplying that you want. So you can type in 11 times by minus 3 to get negative 33. So negative 33 is the number, and the letters collect at the end. So P and Q. Getting the idea? Multiply the numbers, collect up the letters. So for D, we've got 2A times 4B times minus 5. Okay, some of you might want to do that in your head. Some of you will grab the calculator. 2 times 4 times by minus 5. Always be careful when you're multiplying negative numbers. Gives a minus 40. Then look at the letters. Now I have A, B, and then A again. If A happens twice, we write that as A squared, and then the 1B afterwards. Okay, so A squared means A times A. On to part E, multiplying the numbers. 8 times minus 4 times 2. Type it in. What do you get? Hands up, who got? Yes? Minus 64. Perfect. Use your calculators. Minus 64. Now look at the letters. I have an X, a Y, and a Z. They're all different, so we collect them up at the end. You ready? F. 2A times 3A. Multiply the numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. And then the letters, A times A, we're going to make that an A squared. G. Doing the same thing over and over and over again. Multiply the numbers. 5 times 3 is 15. And collecting up the letters, there's 1A, but there's 2 B's. So that means the B is going to be squared. A, B squared. H. 3x squared times x. 3 is the only number there. Now, if it helps, remember that there would be a 1, an imaginary 1 there in front of that next one. So you are just doing 3 times 1, but that does just equal 3. So if there's only one number there, then it's just going to be a 3 for the number part of the answer. X squared means I've got 2 x's already, and I've got to times by another x, so I've got 3 of them now. that makes x to the power of 3. Okay, that power is how many of them you're multiplying together. 9 times 8, doing the numbers first, is 72. And now the x's. X squared, so I've got 2 of them, times another 1 is x cubed. And one last multiplication question. 2ab times 3bc times 2abd. First of all, the numbers. Just do one bit at a time. Numbers first. 2 times 3 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6. And 6 times 2 is 12. That's right. 12. Now look at one letter at a time. So A, alphabetical order, A is first. There is 2 of them. One in the first term, one in the last one. So that's A squared. Now I'm looking for B's. I have 1 here, 1B, another B, another B. There's 3 of them. So that means B cubed. Now I'm looking for C's. Oh, there's only one of those. And there's only one D. Okay? Do one thing at a time so you don't miss anything. So that is how you multiply. Multiply the numbers, collect up the letters. If you want to divide, so question 2 is dividing. We're going to divide the numbers and the letters are going to cancel. Okay, let me show you how we do that. So 2a, 32y divided by 8. So just the number part first. You can use your calculator to do all the timesing and dividing. You're going to do 32 and you're going to divide that by 8. Okay, that's obviously 4. So the number part is a 4. Now because y is the only letter there, I'm going to sneeze. Y is the only letter there, there's nothing to cancel, so it's going to be 4y. But when I have a question like B, 15 divided by 5, so number first, 15 divided by 5 is 3. But a P on the first one and a P on the second one, they will cancel off. I put a line through them and they disappear. That means there is no P's left for the answer. 3 is it. That's it. 3 is the answer. Done. Okay? Divide signs like this can also be written as fractions. They mean the same thing. So 16x over 2 means 16x divided by 2. So I just need to divide the numbers. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And there's only an x on the top, so it stays. It's only if there's in both of them that they cancel, okay? Like in D. Whoa. So 12xy over 16x. 12 divided by 16. Does that go nicely? No. But the beauty of fractions are that we can simplify them even if they don't go nicely. So on your calculator, if you use your fraction button, so that's the one you see where my cursor is, you push that fraction button, you do the 12. Obviously you can't do the letters, you just do the number part. 12 on the top and the 16 on the bottom. If you press equals, it does the simplify part for you. Okay, so I know that's going to become a 3 on the top and a 4 on the bottom. Okay, the calculator simplified the numbers. Okay, it is, you can do it without the calculator. What we did before last year is I would have looked at those two numbers and gone, oh, I can divide them both by 4. Okay, so I divide that by 4, I get a 3, and I divide that by 4, and that's how you get the 4. But the trouble for some people is trying to find what those factors are. Can I divide by 2? Can I divide by 4? What can I divide by? So you can use your calculator to help you, which is what I did the first time around, okay? All right, once we have simplified the numbers, then we're looking at our letters. So the X on the top and the X on the bottom. If there's one on the top, one on the bottom, they cross off. But there's still a Y there. The Y is on the top, so it's going to go up here with the 3. 3Y over 4. Okay, E. 18 ABC divided by 81 AB. Now, what I've been saying is we divide the numbers. And as soon as I go to do that, I go 18 divided by 81. That is not going to be very nice. So even though this question is written with the divide sign, if the numbers don't divide nicely, you need to rewrite the question as a fraction. So 18 ABC over 81AB so that we can do it like the last question we did. Okay, so like the last question, let's use our calculator to simplify those numbers for us. Boy, those birds are loud. Okay, the 18 is on the top, the 81 is on the bottom, and we press an equals. Okay, so what we're really doing is we're dividing by 9, which is going to give me a 2 on the top and a 9 on the bottom. Once we've taken care of the numbers, we then look at the letters. So there's an A on the top and an A on the bottom. Cross them off. Make sure when you cross off, you do it neatly so that you can see what is left. Okay? The worst mistakes are when people have tried to cross things off. They're trying to do the right thing, but they can't read their own writing at the end of it, and they're then putting things in that there shouldn't be. So do it neatly. There is also a B on the top and a B on the bottom. They can cancel as well. So all that is left is that C, which is going to be sitting on the top there next to that 2. All right. Question F. Minus 15 divided by minus 25. What do you think? Should I turn that into a fraction?
No.
Can I do minus 15 divided by minus 25? No. So again, turn it into a fraction first. If I can't divide the numbers, turn them into fractions. So minus 15, x on the top, and minus 25, xy on the bottom. Now you can put the minus signs in your calculator with the fraction, okay? And they will simplify that for you as well. So you go minus 15 on the top, minus 25 on the bottom. Remember, 2 minuses make a plus, so that's why my answer came out positive. And it's simplified to 3 on the top and 5 on the bottom. Then look for your letters. X on the top, X on the bottom. Cancel them out. There is a Y left. Where is it though? Is it on the top or is it on the bottom? Bottom. So it goes on the bottom. Okay, they never switch places. If the Y is on the bottom, it's got to stay on the bottom. G is already a fraction. So use your calculator to simplify those numbers. Type in the minus 11 and the positive 44 on the bottom. So it's minus a quarter. Now I'm always a little bit skeptical when I have minus 1s. I'll put it there for now. Why do you think I'm a little bit hesitant to put that 1 there? Anyone want to guess why I'm hesitant? Yes?
Because you can just put P.
Yeah. If there's a letter, I will no longer actually need the 1. Right? So we don't normally put 1s in front of letters. But let's see what happens. The P stays, the Q's are going to cancel. So because there is a P there on the top, it's going to go here. And to be perfectly simplified, we actually wouldn't write negative 1. We'd go negative P over 4. If you write negative 1P over 4, I'm not going to dock your marks at this stage, but I'd like you to try to practice, please. If it's a 1, we don't need to write it if it's in front of a letter. Okay? H. Simplifying the numbers, 10 over 15. How about you guys have a try? What does it simplify to? Use your calculator.
2 and 3. 2 over 3.
Yeah. So Cash simplified the numbers for me, and it was 2 over 3. You're just typing that in your calculator. 10 over 15 simplifies to 2 over 3 on your calculator. The B's cancel. So who wants to tell me the full answer? Go, Cash. Finish it off.
2A over 3C.
Perfect. There's still an A on the top and there's a C on the bottom. I. So, simplifying the numbers. 18 over 8. Who wants to give me the answer? Someone other than Cash. Use your calculator. Yes.
9 over 4.
9 over 4. Perfect. So, make your fraction. 9 on the top, 4 on the bottom. Who wants to tell me what to do with those letters? How can I cancel? Someone else. I'm getting the same couple of people telling me answers all the time. How can I cancel? What letters can I cancel? Anton, go on. Yep. No? Chickened out? No, someone else. Come on. Yes.
The 2 X's?
I can cancel that X with one of those. Remember that squared means there's 2? So if I just scribble out the 2, that means there's 1 left. Okay? So there will still be 1 left. Is there anything else?
Oh, no.
Any other letters?
No.
No. So write down what's left. X, Y on the top, and a Z on the bottom. That one was a bit tricky, wasn't it? And last one of these, minus 15 and minus 3 are the numbers. Who can tell me how to simplify them? Someone new. I know you know what you're doing. You're doing great. Go on, someone else have a try. Get those calculators out. What is it? Minus 5 over minus 3. Simplify it for me. Yes?
Minus 5.
Almost. That's a positive 5. Did you forget one of the minus signs? Yeah. 2 minus signs will make it a plus. So it makes a positive 5. That means I don't actually have a denominator at this point. Okay, I have a 5 all by itself. But maybe I'll need one. Let's keep going. The letters. The b squared, remember, is 2b. So I can cancel one of them with the b on the top. There'll still be one left on the bottom. So I've done the numbers. They're gone. I have an a and a c on the top. And I do need the bottom because there's still a b left on the bottom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, question 3 on the next page. There was a couple of questions at the end of the last exercise that I made you do that was a bit like this. So this is getting to the trickier stuff at the end, okay? So it says, write a simplified expression for the area of the following shapes. Now to find the area, if you can remember when you did area in year 7, we know how to find areas of rectangles and triangles, but if we have a shape like this, we actually have to cut it in half, right? So I'm going to cut it down here to have 2 rectangles. Okay? So the area of the big rectangle. Now, can anyone remember the formula for the area of a rectangle? Yes, that's Riley, yes.
A equals L times B.
L times B. Does everyone use L times B? I like BH. L times B?
BH.
BH? It doesn't matter. I don't mind which one you use. The only reason I don't like L times B is because if you use lower letters like that, or lower B, it looks like a 1. So that's my only reason. BH, LB, they both mean the same thing, okay? So I'm going to write that at the top to remind me that the area of a rectangle is that formula, okay? So this big rectangle, I know the height is 9y. The height is 9y. How long is this part here? And don't say 10x because 10x goes all the way across. 8 what? 8 x's. Very good. If it's 10x for this whole distance here, if I subtract off that 2, 10 take away 2, means that that part there is 8x. So this first rectangle, this one here, the area of that first rectangle using the BH, the base is 8x, times by the height, which is 9y. All right, another thing to note here. Make sure your time signs don't look like X's. Okay? When a math teacher draws an X, we tend to do a backward C, a forward C. So it's a scripty X. Okay? A time sign is your normal X sign. You need to be able to tell the difference or you're going to get confused. Okay? All right, continuing with the question. Cash, stop talking to yourself, please. We need to find the area of this second rectangle here. I know the base of it is 2x. I can see that there, the highlighted 2x. But I need to know the height. So like what I did with the yellow highlighter, if 9y is this part and y is this part, how much is this part over here that I want? Yes? 8. Yeah, very good. 8y. I go 9 was the total. If I subtract off that 1y, I would have 8 y's here. Okay? So, finishing my area. I have my first rectangle plus I want to add on my second rectangle. Still using base times height. My second rectangle's base is 2x and its height is 8y. Okay, now you don't need the brackets, but sometimes it's easy. Oh, look, there's my first rectangle plus there's my second rectangle. Just a rectangle, other rectangle. Whether you don't need the brackets though, but it does make it easy to see. I can simplify that. That's a pretty yucky expression at the moment, but I can simplify it. We're multiplying. We know how to multiply with algebra. We multiply the numbers out the front. So this first bracket here, 8 times 9 is 72, and the letters collect up, x, y. Then let's do the same thing for the second one, not the plus. Plus is different, got to keep the plus there. But that second bracket, 2 times 8 is 16, and collect up the letters, x, y. Aha! Remember last lesson where we were adding and subtracting? There's an addition sign. We can add stuff as long as they have the same letters. Do they have the same letters?
Yeah.
Yes. Do the letters change when I add them? No. So if I'm going to add those together, I'm going to go 72 plus 16, which is what, Cash? Oh, is that what you're going to tell me? 88. But the letters don't change. It's just 88xy. It's only when you're multiplying that an x times an x makes an x squared. This is where you have to be really careful you don't get confused. Multiplying, letters build up. But adding, they stay the same. Okay? All right. Remember, I've circled this question. Make sure you've all circled this question. This is the hard stuff I'm showing you now. Most of your questions will be like the ones on the first page. Okay, this is the challenge question at the end I'm showing you at the moment. Okay, question 4. Also a bit of a tricky one. Put a circle around it as well. A square has a side length of x. Now I've left a gap there because whenever you're given a question that talks about a shape, it's a good idea to draw it. So let's just draw. It doesn't have to be to scale or anything, but a little rough diagram here. It's a square. So there's a pretty rough looking square. Square means that all the sides are the same length. So I'm putting those little lines on there to say that they're all the same length, even if they don't quite look perfect. And it says that that side length is x because we're doing algebra. So we want x's instead of numbers. State the area in terms of x. Does anyone know the formula for the area of a square?
25.
If it was 5, then it would be 25. What's the formula though? Squared. L squared? So last year, this might look familiar. A is equal to L squared. Does that look familiar now I've written it? Yeah. However, you know you can still use rectangle formulas for squares? Yeah. If you forget that one, you still can use base times height. It's just going to be x times x because the base and the height is the same. Okay? So that will also work if you happen to forget the square formula, because you don't use that one quite as much. But anyway, using our formula, A is equal to L squared, L being the length of the side of the square, what is my length? What is the length? X. So instead of putting a number in, all I'm doing is putting an x in there. It's going to be A equals x squared. And that's all it wants me to do. I can't work out what that equals because I don't know what x is. So that's it. Okay? State the perimeter in terms of x. How do you find a perimeter of a shape? I don't want the answer to this particular question yet, but when I ask you to find a perimeter, what am I asking you to do? Who knows what a perimeter is? You haven't had a turn yet? You add all the sides. Very good. Perimeter is adding up all the sides of a shape. Okay, so for a square, all the sides are the same. So they're all x's, right? So we're going to have P for perimeter equals, I've got x down the bottom, I've got x on the side, I've got x on the top, and I've got x on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them as I go around that square, right? The shorter way, how many x's do I have? 4. So when we add all those together, that is 4x. So the area is A equals x squared. The perimeter is P equals 4x. All right. This is where I'm really going to bend your brain a little bit. This one needs like a triple star on it, something to say this is like complicated. Prove that area divided by perimeter is equal to a quarter of its side length. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to do area divided by the perimeter. That's what it's asking me to do. What did I find the area to be? What was area? Area equals x squared. Then it says divide. What was the perimeter equal to? 4x. Very good. I want to divide those two things. We know how to divide stuff. I don't really want to divide, that would be a 1. 1 divided by 4 doesn't go so nicely. So when that happens, we rewrite it as a fraction. I have my x squared on the top, or a 1x squared if you wanted the 1 there, and my 4x on the bottom. Now, if you were to try to simplify those numbers, there's only a 4 there. The 4 is not going to simplify, okay? So that means I'm going to have that 4 on the bottom for that. But what about the x's? Cash.
You've got an x and an x squared, so you get rid of 1x, the x next to the
Get rid of one of those and get rid of that.
Yeah.
That's right. So really all I have is a 1 up there and an x. That is actually the same as writing a quarter x. Now the reason for me to write it that second way is because it said in the words, show that it's equal to a quarter of the side length. The side length was x. I have just shown that area divided by perimeter is a quarter of x, a quarter of its side length. That's what it wanted me to show. That's done. Yeah. So any square, the area divided by the perimeter is a quarter of the side length. Who would have thought it? Anyway. Okay? So that's the end of my bit. Your turn.